What if the place that shaped your entire life suddenly stood on the edge of disappearing? For nearly 20 years, Heartland has been more than a ranch. It has been a living story about healing, family, and second chances. We didn't just watch Amy grow up on that land. In many ways, we grew alongside her. From a quiet girl who understood horses better than people to a woman carrying the responsibility of an entire legacy, Amy's journey has always felt deeply personal. The fences, the barns, the open Alberta sky all became symbols of stability in a world that constantly changes. But even the strongest places eventually face moments that test everything they stand for. Season 20 opens with a feeling that longtime fans immediately recognize but have never quite felt this strongly before. Something about Heartland feels different. The ranch still looks beautiful in the morning light, horses still run across the fields, and the familiar creak of the barn doors still echoes in the wind. Yet, beneath that peaceful surface, there is a quiet tension growing. Amy feels it every time she looks across the land her family fought so hard to protect. She has lived through loss before. Losing her mother shaped her childhood. Losing Ty changed her entire future. And now, standing in the same fields that once gave her comfort, she begins to wonder if holding on to the past is slowly becoming harder than moving forward. Jack notices the shift too, though he rarely says it out loud. Age has given him a deep understanding of something most people struggle to accept. Nothing lasts forever, not even the things we love the most. For decades, he protected Heartland with everything he had. Every fence he built, every horse he helped save, every lesson he passed on to Amy came from one belief: this ranch was worth fighting for. But now, the challenges facing Heartland aren't just about hard winters or unexpected setbacks. This time, the threat is quieter and far more complicated. Bills are stacking up faster than the ranch can manage, repairs are needed everywhere, and the numbers simply don't add up anymore. Lou sees the problem clearly and immediately begins thinking about solutions. Partnerships, investors, new ways to turn Heartland into something bigger and more profitable. To her, it isn't about changing the ranch's soul, it's about making sure the ranch survives at all. But to Amy, every suggestion feels like another step toward letting strangers rewrite the story her family built. That quiet disagreement slowly creates distance inside the family. Conversations become shorter, decisions get delayed, and for the first time in years, Heartland doesn't feel like a place where everyone is moving in the same direction. Amy finds herself caught between loyalty to the past and responsibility for the future. She has always believed the ranch would somehow endure anything, but belief alone can't solve the problems waiting in front of her. At the same time, another opportunity enters Amy's life, one that complicates everything even more, a chance to expand her work with horses beyond the boundaries of Heartland. It's the kind of opportunity she once dreamed about when she was younger, a chance to help more animals, travel, and grow her reputation as one of the best horse healers in the country. Yet accepting it would mean spending less time on the ranch, the very place that made her who she is. The more Amy thinks about it, the more the question grows heavier. Is she staying at Heartland because it's truly where she belongs, or because leaving it feels impossible? Then a new rescue horse arrives, a powerful animal, completely consumed by fear and anger. No one has been able to calm it. Trainers have tried and failed, and the horse now reacts to every movement with aggression. But when Amy steps into the pen and looks into its eyes, she recognizes something deeper than fear. She sees grief. Working with the horse becomes strangely personal. Each step forward feels slower than usual. Each setback feels heavier, because while she's trying to help the horse trust again, she realizes she may still be carrying wounds she never fully faced herself. Strength has always defined Amy. She stayed strong after losing Ty. She stayed strong for her daughter. She stayed strong for the entire family. But late at night, when the barn is quiet and the world slows down, she begins to question whether strength sometimes hides the pain that never truly healed. Just as the tension around the ranch reaches its highest point, something happens that no one could have predicted. One small mistake, a spark in the wrong place, and suddenly the peaceful night at Heartland is shattered. Flames rise against the dark sky, spreading quickly through the barn that holds years of memories. Horses panic, wood cracks, and smoke fills the air as the entire ranch erupts into chaos. Amy doesn't hesitate. She runs straight into the barn, unlocking stalls and guiding terrified horses outside one by one. Lou shouts instructions while trying to keep track of everyone. Jack stands frozen for a moment, staring at the flames climbing across beams he built with his own hands years ago. In that instant, the truth becomes painfully clear. This isn't just a building burning, it's a piece of their history. By the time the fire is finally controlled, the damage is impossible to ignore. Equipment is destroyed, part of the barn is gone, and one of the young rescue horses is badly injured. As the sun rises over the ranch the next morning, the family faces a reality they tried to avoid. The cost of rebuilding may be more than they can handle. For the first time in Heartland's long history, the idea of letting someone else take control no longer feels impossible. It feels dangerously close to becoming necessary. As the smoke finally clears and the first light of morning spreads across the ranch, the damage becomes impossible to ignore. Charred wood hangs from the barn frame, tools lie buried under ash, and the air still smells like smoke and loss. For a place that has survived decades of storms, heartbreak, and financial struggles, this moment feels different. This time, the fight to save Heartland may cost more than the family is prepared to give. Amy walks slowly through the remains of the barn, her boots crunching softly over burnt wood. Every corner holds a memory. This is where she trained her first horse alone, where she spent countless nights working beside her mother, where Ty once stood laughing after a long day of work. Those memories feel almost alive in the silence, and the thought of losing the ranch suddenly feels like losing those moments all over again. Lou, however, sees the situation through a different lens. Standing among the damage, she begins calculating the reality they can no longer avoid. Insurance will help, but it will never cover everything. Repairs will take months, supplies must be replaced, horses still need care, and the ranch already struggled financially before the fire ever started. To her, the investor offer they once rejected now feels less like a threat and more like the only path forward. The idea divides the family in quiet but powerful ways. Amy fears what outside investors might do to the place she loves. She imagines modern buildings replacing old barns, events turning the ranch into a business attraction, strangers walking across land that once belonged only to family. To her, Heartland is more than property. It is history. It is identity. Jack stands silently between both sides of the argument, carrying the weight of decades on his shoulders. He understands Amy's fear, because he feels it too, but he also knows the ranch has demanded sacrifice from the family for generations. Every season brought another challenge, another battle to keep things running. For the first time in his life, Jack wonders if holding on too tightly could destroy the very legacy they tried to protect. Days pass as the family slowly begins repairing what they can. Temporary shelters are built for the horses, damaged fences are replaced, the injured rescue horse Amy saved during the fire becomes a symbol of everything they are fighting to protect. Healing it becomes Amy's personal mission. Each careful step of progress reminds her why she fell in love with this life in the first place. But even as small victories appear, the bigger reality remains unavoidable. Eventually, Jack gathers the entire family together inside the house. No one argues, no one interrupts. They simply listen as he shares something that has clearly been on his mind for a long time. He tells them that Heartland was never just about the land or the buildings. What made the ranch special was the people who lived there and the lives they changed along the way. The horses they saved, the lessons they passed down, the strength they built together as a family. And maybe, he suggests gently, the true legacy of Heartland was never meant to stay frozen in one place forever. Amy struggles to accept those words at first. Letting go feels like betrayal, like abandoning everything her mother and Ty once fought to protect. But later that evening, she watches her daughter running freely across the pasture, laughing as the wind moves through the tall grass. In that moment, Amy begins to realize something important. The spirit of Heartland isn't tied to fences or barns. It lives in the people who carry its lessons forward. The final morning at the ranch arrives quietly. The sky glows soft gold as the sun rises over the familiar fields. Horses graze peacefully, unaware that this day carries a deeper meaning for everyone watching. Amy walks out alone into the pasture, standing beside the once frightened horse she helped heal. The animal that once refused to trust anyone now stands calmly beside her, strong and steady. Amy gently rests her hand on its neck and looks across the land that shaped her entire life. For a moment, every memory returns, her mother's voice guiding her, Ty's laughter echoing through the barn, years of struggle, love, and growth woven into every corner of the ranch. But instead of sadness, a quiet sense of peace settles over her. Because Heartland was never just a place where broken horses found healing, it was a place where broken hearts learned how to begin again. And as Amy watches the sun rise over the fields one last time, she understands something that once felt impossible. Sometimes the most powerful way to honor a legacy isn't by holding on to it forever. Sometimes it's by carrying it forward into whatever comes next.